I'm Damien Barrett and welcome to Access All Areas. Another weekend of crucial wins and costly losses for some teams. And Matthew Lloyd and Jimmy Bartell, the race for the top positions on the ladder is intriguing. But outside of the Tigers, who is catching your eye?
Damo, it's just twists and turns everywhere, which is fantastic. And it was this time last year where I think Richmond lost their last game of the season. They lost in round 19 to Geelong and did not look back after that point in time. But I think the top two, Jimmy, for mine, they've got the prime spot because they're a game clear. And if they can get two home finals, well, they're going to be hard to stop. That's Richmond and West Coast.
Well, we're starting to hear the big sound out the west of Sydney, aren't we? The GWS footballing giants, for me, 7 out of the last 8. We thought they could have been in a little bit of trouble. As we look at them on the ladder, they're in 5th position. That draw sort of separating them, they're being on 46 points. But losing Cameron, we wondered how they were going to get their forward structure together. But they got Toby Green back at an important time. You know, their whole midfield depth, we've talked about that running power of the midfield. I just think they're building something really nicely. And when we look at seasons in review, we always go back to a side getting on a big roll leading into a final series. And I think the Giants are in the middle of that.
The adversity they went through has clearly benefited them, Lauder, with that stretch of games they've got. And they've got 4 wins out of the 5 games they didn't have Cameron for. You look at the team beneath them there on the ladder, Melbourne. To me, they still are something to be factored into the big picture.
I agree with that, Damo. They just need their shackles off to make the finals initially, and they are a scary proposition because they're so tough. They're always in games. They've found ways to lose them, but they've been pretty impressive this year. And you look at the top 8 percentage, far superior to 9th and 10th. So I think the top 8 might be where it sits come round 23.
Yep. Best game out of the round was the one that we anticipated most going into it, Collingwood and Richmond at the MCG. And it was a genuine heavyweight battle. Collingwood lost nothing. We'll talk about what they're dealing with injuries at the moment. But the intensity was supreme, wasn't it?
Yeah, mirrored pretty much how they played early in the year, round 6. A lot of pressure around the ball. Collingwood were super. They came to players. They used that old footy term. But Richmond are just going to play the 4 quarters out, and whether they break you through the 3rd quarter or in the last quarter, they just keep playing this relentless style of footy, move the ball forward, and they defend super well. It always gets undersold how well that back 6 is.
There's no doubt, Jim, they do that, and Collingwood are building towards that. It's why with so many injuries, and we're going to talk about them soon, they stay in games because their intensity and pressure, Damo, just doesn't really let up.
Did they lose anything, Lordo, in your eyes, Collingwood?
They didn't, but they've lost more players, which is that's just the killer for them. It's just unfortunate because they could have done some serious damage this year. I don't think they can do it anymore because it's just the weight of numbers.
Do you rule them out now, Lotto, with the weight of injury accumulating to the point where you see this list here and it's horrific for Nathan Buckley and anyone associated with Collingwood to think that they can get on this beautiful roll and yet have circumstances outside their control take away their chance? Yeah,
the real concerning thing is majority of those aren't coming back this year at all, and even some of them are under a little bit of doubt. How much of a reaction is that stress-related injury in Jordan De Goey? Adam Treloar, that's a long hamstring injury that he suffered. But for me, Dunn and Scharenberg now puts a lot of pressure on Darcy Moore because when you come up against sides, if they were to meet the Cats, for example, with Tom Hawkins in super form, if they're to meet the Eagles, who matches up on Darling and Kennedy? Yeah. So just losing those 2 key defenders are a massive loss.
And while he's a talent, he was basically first up in an AFL perspective, wasn't he, against the best team in the competition. We saw Elliott on that list. It said VFL, but obviously did the hamstring late in that piece, and he's in some doubt again. Richmond forward of the footy, when they're good back of the footy too, but they trust each other so implicitly, don't they, guys, where they get the ball and there's a clean break, it's a fast break and it's on.
Well, the number 1 side metres gained by handball, and they have trust in that their teammates are going to give it forward. So that actually encourages your teammates to run anyway. If you know and you're predictable to your teammates, if you're a Richmond teammate who's going to handball the ball forward, you will start spreading forward really hard.
And another thing you're going to see here too, rather than take the easier option to the free player, they will go to the long option one-on-one, won't they?
Yeah, you're right, Damo, and as you said, they know that they are the best one-on-one side in the game too. They're tough, they win contested ball, and you can sort of, not cheat, but you can back in your teammate to win contests that another side won't win. They outnumber at the contest and can charge forward like Kane Lambert did there. So that's the thing about Collingwood. They have different players come in every week. This side has played together now for 2 years. They know their games inside out, and that's why they're the clear favourite yet again.
We had a highlight of the season, the goal of the year, I would think, undoubtedly, with Jack Higgins doing this in the 3rd quarter. A lot of conjecture around it. The simple fact of the matter, the way I read it, the way I see it, that is a throw, and had it been paid a throw, Jimmy, we would be being told today by the AFL that was the right decision to pay it as a throw. You have your say now.
Goal for me. This is the one time I'm trusting the AFL. It'll be the only time this year. Look, he thought his way through it magnificently. To actually think about that in the moment, I heard
Jimmy, look at the ball go up. It's propelling the ball upwards.
So you reckon that propelled?
Yeah.
So if you're laying on your back and you've got to kick one over your head?
Yep. Well, we only deal with what's in front of us. That ball goes up. That ball goes up. That's a throw.
Have we had a statement yet from Hayden Kennedy saying exactly the rule on this one?
No, not a clear one, would it? There's a convoluted, ambiguous one out there at the moment.
But he didn't touch it again with his hands. So you could call it a really awkward kicking action.
Threw the ball up.
They've ticked it obviously off as a goal, but I want Hayden to come out and say, if you were being tackled and you did that, that would be a free kick. But because he wasn't tackled, we passed that. I want to hear the clarity around it this morning.
Let's wait. Jaden Short had a big patch early in the game. 2 long bomb goals, having taken the ball off a teammate. I want you guys, please, to take us through what Collingwood did wrong on both of these circumstances, which happened early in the game and close to each other.
Well, that's Taylor Adams there, but any of the Collingwood players milling around, I guess, the back of the man on the mark there should be aware, Jaden Short, in your scouting report, they always give him the footy. This is not a new phenomenon this year. Thomas, Varco and others, it should be absolutely on the ball because any chance they get, they handball.
This is referred to as a Jimmy going into a game against Richmond.
Yeah, a number of sides. If you're playing West Coast, Shannon Hearn. You're going to mark off Shannon Hearn.
And he's flushed that one. This one's actually an easier shot,
Damo, I'd have my hand in his chest. These Phillips here we're highlighting. Your hand should be in his chest. Look at him standing behind again. It's just, you cannot switch off against Richmond for 1 second. You have to play 4 quarters to beat them. And that just put them on the back foot. They were chasing from this point onwards. They get a few injuries. He should not kick another goal at that for the rest of the year if teams are serious. The
one point of vulnerability that people refer to when it comes to the Tigers is what happens when Nankervis goes and has a rest. It hasn't cost them yet, but will it cost them when they come up against a team like they did on the weekend in Grundy and maybe a Gawn in Melbourne, Jimmy?
Well, the 2 names you named there... Look, Richmond are back that you're not going to play against, hopefully, Max Gawn and Grundy, and they're 2 exceptional players who are probably in the best 10 players in the game, whatever order you want to put them in. So, look, they've been playing great footy. They don't win a lot of clearances. What they get out of Nankervis is a super contest, but I don't think they'd be overly concerned, as in looking to bring in another ruckman into that mix.
It's a great question you asked, Damo, because I thought they couldn't win a flag 2 years in a row. With the vulnerability with that second ruckman, but they're looking like doing it again. But I reckon a team really has to try and pick apart the time Grigg goes in. Can we have a different setup around the ball to get some momentum going and take it away from Richmond?
You reckon they're okay?
Yeah, because just not every side, as we know, has a Grundy or a Max Gawn.
So you just weather those moments.
You just weather those moments. Hopefully they don't have as big an impact on the game as Brodie Grundy did have on the weekend.
Swans went into the ground in 4th position on the ladder, ended it in 9th. They've lost 4 of their past 5 now. The one win in that 5-match streak was a narrow one against North Melbourne, but the losses have come against Richmond and Geelong, Gold Coast last week, which was harrowing for them, and then Essendon on the weekend. I think we can put a line through them. Yeah,
we can for sure. It's the next 4 weeks, Damo. I think they'll go in as underdogs in every game. They've got Collingwood, Melbourne, GWS and Hawthorn. So they've lost all areas of strength. They don't put pressure on anymore. The ball lives in their back half. Their midfield's not strong. And maybe now you look at Grundy. Does he play next year? Because the way they're going to end the season, they'll make some hard calls. McVeigh, probably the end of him because of it. And you look at Kieran Jack as well. So really it's end of an era in a sense.
It is end of era, is it? Do you see it that way too?
It's difficult because you can never write off the champion. They just keep finding new players. They pluck another one out of the rookie list. I just think they need to change their system a little bit. When they've had all those losses, their inability to score has been quite drastic. I know they won the game against the Kangaroos. They kicked 100 points. But you look either side of those games, they've only been around 60 or 70 points. So Buddy saw, do you just leave him deep and you clear out the forward line and try and just back the... Let's just try and get it in there as many times as possible.
Oliver Florent had an issue on the weekend, similar to some Collingwood players, when Essendon had the ball here. Bagley's got it, and you can see this happen before it actually happened.
Myers is the same as Jaden Short, the longest kick at Essendon, and I'm not sure when he was told by the runner to come off, but he should know. It's a rookie error, Jimmy. He knows I've got to wait till this play finishes before I charge off the ground. You could see afterwards he felt sick with what he'd done. He realised the mistake he'd made there and then, and you watch him sitting on the bench. He's just shattered. He realises what he's done. He'll never do that again.
Smart move by Grundy, just moving a bit further down the bench there, so he doesn't get off any of the side spray.
The Dons, it took until round 8 when they lost to Carlton, so they were 2 wins, 6 losses at that point. Have won 8 of 10 since. They've arguably left it too late, haven't they?
Yeah, arguably. But if they win their next 4, which I think they're capable of, they do have to play Richmond and Port Adelaide away in the run home. But they seem in total control of their game. As I said, the ball lived in their back half because their midfield was poor, their forward pressure was poor. That's all turned around, and they're a top 5 or 6 side at the moment.
Jimmy, you had real presence out there on the AFL grounds when you played. This man has real presence himself too. Charlie Dixon did it against the Bulldogs yesterday in Ballarat. Did it at the same venue last year when he kicked 4. He kicked 5 yesterday. When he's like this, the power could do anything.
Yeah, you're spot on. When Charlie Dixon's up and about, Port Adelaide will go a long way in September. And talk about presence. He can make the footy look like an Oz kick footy. His hands are that big. And when he clunks them early, you can see the confidence rise amongst the Port Adelaide group because he gives them not only that big target inside 50, but if they need a bailout kick coming off half back, he's that big target down the line.
He's only kicked 20 goals for the year, 17 games, so it was brilliant and shows how important he is, but he's just got to do it more often.
North Melbourne keep trying to go for the big name midfielder, Martin, Heaney and Josh Kelly amongst those names. They ended up getting this guy with pick 69 in last year's draft, Paul Ahern, ex-GWS player with 2 knee reconstructions to his name, but when he's picking up 37 disposals against West Coast as he did in Hobart on the weekend, the future looks pretty good.
Yeah, and only his 8th game of footy. And well done to North Melbourne for taking a chance and a punt on a guy who's had 2 knees. But obviously the talent, everyone knew the talent was there, especially from North Melbourne. But he's such a
have a look at this play here. Gets the ball, gets it back, and then squeezes this kick out to Wood.
Well, that's what we're seeing already in his early part of his career. He can win the contested footy, but he gets on the outside. And that's real polish and class about him, Lloyd.
We look at what Kane Lambert's done. There's so many players around the comp with inside balls like Ahern that you can get some great value out.
And of those 37, 22 were contested. OK, what's your decision? A famous old football segment. Take us through what you would have done on this occasion with Willie Rioli being tackled high by Simpkin here.
Well, where the umpire is, he's boundary side. He would have first seen Willie Rioli. That's what they've cracked down on, players bringing the contact high.
OK, so is it a free kick, bottom line?
Yeah, that's still high. But the umpire would have seen him trying to chicken wing the arm up, I guess, if you want. A lot of people call that, Joel Selwood brings the contact up high.
He's still holding his head there.
Maybe grabbing him on the back of the head and going, is this a free kick?
Hey, it was great for Carlton to get a win. They've weathered a lot this year. So too was their main player, Paddy Cripps. And he was again best on ground, fortunately for him, in a winning team this week.
Unbelievable, Damo, what he's done this year. And I love players in bottom sides who become guns and stars. And I think that's why Gary Ablett's time on the Gold Coast Suns, you just say what a player he was up there for them. Still won a Brownlow best and fairest, and Cripps just does it week in and week out with not much support. He got support on the weekend from Murphy and Curnow and Cade Simpson, so suddenly they win a game of football. But what a player he's become. He's arguably the best player in the game. It's just that he doesn't get too much support like he should.
Another young gun who was doing it all year and has done it for the short time he's been in the AFL, Clayton Oliver for the Demons, who had a great win against Adelaide. Yeah,
it's frightening what he's already done in 50 games at AFL footy. His combination with Max Gawn is almost like winding back the clock when you used to hear the ruck rover combinations they talk about. But his hands and his ability and his explosiveness in close, I think people look at him and go, geez, he wouldn't be that quick, but he's so quick. They call it inside, the phone box there. Watch this little play. Doop, over the top. Quick hands again. And where he'll, again, develop and become even better, which is scary, he's actually a pretty good kick of the footy and can hit the scoreboard. Once he adds more kicking to his game, look out.
Coaches' boxes are highly charged, emotion-driven places to be, particularly when games are close. Craig Jennings, who is Simon Goodwin's right-hand man. This is last year when you can see what happened late in that game against West Coast over there in Perth. Emotionless at a time of great celebration for others, and this is on the weekend. Again, everyone else is going nuts, Lotto.
Well, that's why you need a different mix in the box, and that's where Craig has been super. I think he's been with Luke Beveridge, he was at Essendon when I was there, and now he's with Simon Goodwin. And it's interesting, as a coach, you've got to have all different dynamics, and he's obviously made a...
He's as cold as ice.
Cold as ice, and he's very good at what he does, Craig Jennings.
Developing a very good reputation, isn't he? Jimmy, you like studying players' artwork. Jake Stringer posted the match after the Bombers' good win against the Swans.
Well, when I saw this the other night on TV, it reminded you, Lloydie, you have the big full-body tats on. Yours is very similar to this.
All I have is a six-pack on my stomach. But know what you got to think of? How you'll look when you're a grandfather, and I think Jake might regret that one down the track.
OK, and we just mentioned coaches' boxes being emotionally charged. Chris Fagan doesn't often lose it, but did on the weekend, but quickly rectified it, Jimmy.
No, Mr. Nice Guy here in the coaching world, as we see him lose it at McStay here, handball on, when he probably should have gone back and just slotted the goal gave the handball up to Alan Christian. We watch Fags. Oh, no!
Danny Daly there next to him.
Oh, sorry about that. But what's he doing?
He apologised, though.
He did apologise. A good man.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thanks, you, Lordo. And thank you for joining us on Access All Areas. We'll catch you next Monday. Goodbye.